I think of all the time in my life like a big piece of pie. Literally, that is all we have, no more, no less. And how you manage your time is practically how you slice this big, delicious piece of pie, which sounds very simple but can be very difficult if you wear multiple hats, like I do. A few years back, I used to work 10 to 12 hours a day in a very demanding full-time job. And I also had to study for my accounting qualification anywhere between 10 to 20 hours a week. But although I don't have any qualification to study now, I am still in a full-time job, growing my presence on social media, creating and building multiple income streams, and also still finding time to learn something new every single day. So I can promise you that this question is something that I get asked all the time. How do I manage my time and manage to finish, complete, and handle everything? And actually how I work it out is actually very simple. So simple that I am so surprised that not many people are talking about it. And I know that everyone has different priorities, but let me show you how I actually slicing my pie or manage my time so that it can give you some ideas of how you can manage yours. Mathematically, we do have 168 hours in a week, and that is where we are going to start off with. However, that high number is not going to last for long because there's this one thing that we all have to do, which is sleep. A few years ago when I was studying really hard, I actually had to compromise on my sleep. But for me, I get tired the next day and even the day after, so it actually has a negative impact on my productivity. So therefore, for me, I don't compromise my sleep. I do sleep anywhere between 7 hours to 8 hours a day, but most of the time on average, we're looking at around 7.5 hours. So therefore, I'm taking off 53 hours a week for sleeping. I am also full-time employed, and with my employment contract, the hours is 40 hours a week, and that is normally the hours that I do. And if this was a simple maths, you may think, there we go, we're just deducting sleep, full-time work, and that is pretty much it. However, life it's not that simple, is it? Because on a day-to-day basis, there will be other things that you have to do, and I like to call them the non-negotiables. So those are things like working out, walking your dog, changing nappies, sending your kids to school, shower, cooking, eating, or building or maintaining healthy relationships with your friends and your partner. So for me, all these things I consider really important, and therefore I allocate around 4 hours a day for these things. So that is 28 hours in the week. Another non-negotiable for me, and has been for the past couple of months, is learning. I look at my future self, and what I see is I want to be a wise person, and that comes with learning from different sources and also, more importantly, learning about myself. So I do allocate an hour every day to either learn, journal, or meditate. And some of you may think that spending an hour a day on learning stuff is quite generous and rather a bit too much. Everyone has different priorities, and for me, this is really, really important. I think it's really important to really have a good think about what your non-negotiables on a daily and weekly basis are. If we go back to the pie analogy for a second, in a piece of pie, there might be some chocolatey bit or some bit that you really want to have, and if you don't get to have it, you might not feel satisfied or fulfilled. And you need to take that into consideration when you manage your time, because if there are things that are really important to you right now and you're not doing them, you won't feel fulfilled and satisfied on a daily and weekly basis. And once those are out of the way, you start to see how much time you actually have got left, and maybe you haven't got that much time left at all. But I think this is a really good exercise. Now for me, I have 40 hours left after all the essential activities, which if you think about it, it is the same hours as my full-time job. So essentially, I could definitely do 2 full-time jobs. So that just goes to show how much hours we, all of us, actually have. However, after doing this exercise, you might come to realize that you actually haven't got much time left. And if that's the case, then that means there might be too many things that you are doing, and potentially you might need to cut them down. So I'd like you to ask yourself a few questions. Are there any activities that you're putting hours in that are not giving you any incremental return or recognition? And another question is, are the activities that you are thinking that you must do them, are they all your priorities at the moment. Because for me personally, with everything that I want to do in my life now, I want to learn, I want to produce content, I am growing on social media, I am starting a side income, side business. And if I were to add having a six-pack as another goal of mine, and that means that I have to go to the gym, spending an hour and a half at the gym every single day, that would not be practical for me. So maybe it's worth to lay all your goals out and really think about which ones are your priority at this month, this quarter, or this year. And you may be surprised because not all of them will be. But back to the numbers, I do have 40 hours left, and it all depends on how I want to split this extra 40 hours into what I want to do in my life outside of my full-time job, non-negotiables, and sleep. So for you, it could really be anything. You might be looking to study part-time for a degree or a qualification, or you might want to learn to speak another language, another instrument, or starting a business. Whatever it is, this is the amount of time that you have to build, learn, and create. My top priorities are just two simple things, and the first one is building a personal brand so that I can positively impact as many people as possible, which means that I am building a stronger personal brand on YouTube and growing a presence on Instagram. And another one is to generate alternative streams of income outside of my full-time job. I need to start and grow another business or a service that I can sell, which is something that I'm working on now. And I also want to create something every year. So I am creating one digital product every single year, and I am putting a little bit of time to spend on that on a weekly basis. In a few weeks, I'll be posting a video about goal setting for 2023, which I'll talk about all these things in more detail in that video. So if that's something that you like to see, then do hit subscribe. And once we've got our pie sliced up, then it's time to plan. You can definitely use any planning app and method, but for me what works the best is time blocking, and I do my time blocking on Google Calendar because it's also synced with my work calendar. It is synced to share calendar with my partner, so I can just see everything all in one go. I am definitely 100% a morning person, so I try to get all my learning and all my non-negotiables done in the morning because that's where my mind is the most active and I'm ready to absorb new information. So most days I'll be up at 5 o'clock and I'll do an hour of reading. Then after that, it's kind of a mixed bag of activities. Then I'll continue on doing some work, and by lunch I want to do a small outside of work task that I can fit in that doesn't really require a long lengthy time to get the task completed. And in the evening I like to label that family time because obviously we cannot forget that certain things are important in life. For example, speaking, talking to my partner about the day and taking the dog for a walk. It is understandable for someone to look at my calendar and think that is so rigid. And it is. In general, I like to think that everyone has 3 phases in life, but I like to call them 3 seasons. Planting the seeds, which is the season where you start laying the foundation of something or creating something or building something. The second stage or second season is grow. So in this season, you'll be watching the stuff that you build or the foundation that you lay grow. And what you do is you maintain the growth. The last season is harvest, which is a time where you're reaping the benefits of the things that you've created, built, and grow. To put this in practice, so most of the time when we start our career, that's when we are planting the seed, right? Because we are laying foundation of our career. We're trying to build skills so that you can reap the benefits or harvest at the time when you're 60, when you're retired. Now for me, I have big dreams that I will achieve 10 years from now. So for me, in this time, I am in a planting season, hence why I am spending so much time doing all these things so that I can build a strong foundation. And if you're watching this video, I am assuming that you are doing the same or something similar. And therefore, when we're in this phase, things are going to feel a little bit uncomfortable because you're going to be spending so much time doing something that you don't see the benefit now, but you will in the future. Napoleon Hill once said, the ladder of success is never crowded at the top. Other questions that I also get a lot of times is that I don't feel motivated, I'm always tired, what should I do? And I do have 2 practical tips, which is the one that I am actually using and I feel like it has such a huge impact. And the first one is think of your to-do list as a to complete list. Most of the time, done is better than perfect. So for example, if I know that tonight I only have 3 hours, if I'm in the mindset that I need to work on this video, sometimes I can spend 3 hours, 4 hours, and I still don't finish the video. However, when I change the mindset that I need to be completing this video rather than just working on the video, then I know that as long as I get the video done and without compromising too much on the quality, then that video is done. And another one is the 5 seconds rules, and this one I use a lot when, admittedly, in the morning when I try to get out of bed. 5-second rule is from a book by Mel Robbins, and basically it says that if you want to do something but you are fearful of doing it, you have doubt about yourself, or basically you just don't want to do it, all you need to do is counting from 1 to 5, and within that 5 seconds you need to do that thing. So when my alarm clock comes on in the morning on the day that I don't want to get up, I will do 1, 2, 3, and before 5 I know that I need to be up. It works. Let me know in the comments if you've tried it, has it worked for you? But it has definitely worked really well for me. I really hope you found this video helpful. I love talking about planning and numbers. I am a numbers person, and if you do enjoy it as well, don't forget to hit like, because that is really helpful in terms of the algorithm. I thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.